The Delta State government has criticized Senator Omo-Agege, accusing him of deceiving unsuspecting Deltans into supporting his ambition. In the view of the Commissioner for Information, Charles Aniagwu, no amount of propaganda will secure victory for Omo-Agege. Well, he says the Delta State government will not fold its hands and allow the APC candidate to use bogus promises to deceive Deltans into voting for the APC.
We did say that we acknowledge his democratic and constitutional right to seek the office he is aspiring to occupy come 2023. But that in doing so, it will not be wise for him to take for granted the intelligence of Deltans. And that the best way to be able to speak to Deltans is to tell Deltans the truth. Today, as we speak, preparation has already reached advanced stage for us to commission the Omo-Agege floating market. That market in Warri North is the first of its kind in the entire country, where you decide to go almost to the center of the ocean and build a market for our people. We have taken from them, so we decide to give back.
And the man you just saw, Delta State Commissioner for Information and PDP spokesman Charles Aniagwu, actually joins us now in the studio. Charles, thank you so much for being here.
Good to see you again.
Wow. We know it's a campaign period, it's elections and all of that, but you are actually accusing a candidate of the APC, Omo-Agege, of deceiving unsuspecting Deltans. Talk to us about what led to this call out that you've just done.
Well, first of all, you recall not long ago, there are some leaders in our country, led by former military head of state, Abdulsalami Abubakar, assembled leaders of different political parties, particularly the presidential candidates, to sign a peace accord. And of course, usually they also do that with a number of other political parties, even at the state level. And during such events, they usually emphasize the need for politicians to stay on the issues. And what are the issues? Whatever that agitates the minds of Nigerians. And that means that anybody who is aspiring at any level to want to occupy such a prestigious position need to come true. That is, need to be able to speak the truth to power and be able to address the issues as it affects the people. And so when our brother and the Deputy Senate President now decide to talk to people and he decide to tell more of what is very far from the truth, we believe that is archaic and that should not be accommodated at a time like this. And so, like I said, we recognize his rights to aspire, but in doing so, he must be able to tell the people the truth, so that what happened to us in 2015 as a people in this country will not happen again. And so he was very busy saying that nothing has happened. And of course, I'm happy you heard that when he also visited the traditional rulers, he told them that he will continue projects initiated by this administration that have not been completed. Right. And yet, in another circle, he said this government in Delta have not done anything. I said, no, well, don't progress along that line.
Well, just like Amaka said, I mean, it's elections, and you would expect anything. Like they say, all is fair in love and war. But on the issues, Omo-Agege says, in all the 7+ years that Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa has been at the helm of affairs as governor of the state, he's not really accounted much for the trillions. According to him, almost 3 trillion is not really accounted for. I mean, doesn't really translate, in his view, to development or better life for the people of Delta.
Well, I don't want to begin to waste so much time addressing the issue of him talking about trillions. The question is, where did he see the trillions he's talking about? But let's assume, even without conceding, Omo-Agege flies into Asaba every now and then. He knows what has been done with respect to upgrading of the Asaba airport. But I don't want to talk about what has happened in even any other place. I want to go to his community where he hardly visits. He's from Ughelli North local government, specifically he's from Orogun. We have built township roads even in his community, but because he hardly goes home, he may not even be aware. We have also built a bridge called Abaro Bridge, still in his local government. That bridge connects his kids and kin in the other parts of the local government. We have also awarded contracts for the construction of a link road that will connect a place called Emevo in Isoko to Orogun, where he's also from. That is just within his community. I'm not talking about the entire local government. But if he wants us to begin to discuss the things we have done in Delta, of course, there are very, very obvious a number of things that we have done. Whether it's starting from the issue of 3 new universities, or the floating market, which I mentioned a while ago, or the Coca Bridge, or what we are doing with the Ugeli Asaba Express, which has reached advanced stage, if not for this flood that have now come to more like through a spanner in the wheel. Or he wants us to talk about the many other bridges that were built, whether the ones that
Charles, you might not have time for you to
so when he somebody who is that highly placed, there are many things you can tell Deltans if you want to contest. We acknowledge his right to contest. You can come and tell them, this has happened, but I want to do better in this area. That is allowed.
So now talk to us about this promises that you're saying is just there to deceive unsuspecting Deltans, and what really makes them bogus, in your opinion?
He does not even have any promise. We are saying, no, come and say what you want to do. He has not been able to mention a single thing that he wants to do. And because as a government, we have a responsibility to also protect our people from being deceived. In 2015, what happened to us in this country is enough for everybody, every true leader to be on the guard. When APC came on board and said they are going to bring change. For instance, he is the deputy president of the Senate. Yeah. By that position, he's the number 3 person in the number 3 person in the Senate. After the Senate president, you have the speaker, and then he's the next. No single federal project in Delta that he has been able to attract. As a lawmaker in the National Assembly, you have 3 major responsibilities. One is representation. Second is lawmaking. And then the third one is oversight. Taken from the point of representation where he represents the people, because as somebody who is from Delta Central Senatorial District, he has not been able to, even his community, because federal rules connect his community, apart from the state rules that were built, the federal rules that we have continued to maintain over the years, at this moment is in very deplorable situation.
Right, but
he has not even been able to get the federal government to repair them.
The point that many are raising too, including Omo-Agege, how have these projects really impacted on the lives of the average Deltan?
I'm sure, my sister, that before now, what you usually hear about Delta is for the wrong reason, that there's one crisis here and there, or that people are fighting in the creeks. Have you bothered to ask how we're able to move from number 4 in oil production to number 1? Because we're able to take projects to the people. And that project have given us peace. If you go to the creeks of Delta, you will see roads being constructed. Nobody will, you will be shocked that we even have a road as long as 19.7 kilometers. In a place that crosses a place called Ogulaha, Yobebe, Yokri, in the heart of the creeks. The Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is of the same political platform, was the one who came to commission it. The Vice President had been to Delta 3 times to commission projects, and that is from his own party. The ultramodern secretariat that we built in Delta was commissioned by the Vice President. When the Vice President visited and saw the amount of things we were doing in Delta, he praised the governor, not minding that he belongs to another political party. That is a true leader.
So you're saying the projects are on ground, and
the projects are on ground, they touch the life of our people, and it has given us peace.
And everyone should focus on issue-based politics.
Let him focus on issue-based. We recognize his right to aspire. We don't have any problem with that. But in aspiring, come and tell Deltans what you are going to do differently.
Yeah, but then again, it will be your job to counter whatever narrative he's putting out. He also says that the Okowa is guilty of betraying the South.
What does that
mean? On
the
issue of, the presidency coming to the South.
The zoning.
What does that mean?
Well, you might want to ask Omo-Agege what
Omo-Agege indeed was one of those who even supported Ahmed Lawan in the APC when he contested.
Right.
Okowa did he contest for presidency? The fact is that a northern candidate, a northern aspirant, won the ticket to fly the flag of the PDP. And constitutionally, once you have a candidate, you must proceed to now nominate a vice presidential candidate. And because of our nuances, particularly with respect to geopolitical divide and a number of things, usually it comes from the other side. And which means the vice presidential candidate naturally will have to come from the South.
But Okowa was at the table each time the discussion around zoning to the South
Very correct.
Very correct.
Very correct.
Held in Delta as well.
Very correct. Yeah. Very correct. So are you saying that the president of the candidate of the party, having emerged from the North, that all the other persons in the South would have said, no, we don't want you? Do you know what that means for your political party? When the party proceeded to say we are throwing it open, what does that mean? It means that anybody will have the ability or possibility of winning. And it just happened that Atiku became the preferred in the party.
We've gone
and so having become the preferred, automatically he needed to pick somebody who is compatible. And the reason, like he said, why he identified that Okowa as somebody who will also add value to his ticket is both performance and his mien.
Absolutely.
And that is not what we are going to take away from him.
We've really gone past all of that because Ifeanyi Okowa is the vice presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party. Well, you have the honors of wearing a double cap, speaking about being Commissioner for Information in Delta and also one of the spokesperson of the campaign. Let's talk about something that came out earlier on today. Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State, he's part of the touted G5 governors. He says he's withdrawing support for your candidate because, according to him and others are not being carried along as the campaigns progress. Your reaction
you called him one of the G5.
Yes.
So as a news person, what was supposed to be the main news? The news is if he had come out to say, oh, without Atiku, I'm not going anywhere. These are individuals who have continued to approach as part of the management process to deal with some of the disagreements that arose shortly after the presidential, primary of the presidential primaries of the party, nomination of the vice presidential candidate, and a number of other issues. So there is nothing too new that he said, because of course their group have said we wanted this to happen, and we are saying yes, whatever you are demanding, particularly with respect to the movement of the chairman from the north to the south, need to take cognizance of the timelines and where we are. And so our decision to continue to reach out, including what our leaders have been doing to
reaching out is one thing, but actually carrying them along.
Reaching out means carrying them along. And first of all, let us, I have said the last time I came here that what the PDP have suffered, particularly the presidential kind have suffered in the not too distant time, is the danger of a single story. Apology to our sister Chimamanda Adichie. You were here when they said they would not be part of, when they pulled out. They addressed a press conference in Port Harcourt. Do you pull out of what you are not already part of? The campaign council was put together. You saw their names in the campaign council. The leadership made it very clear that of all the states, it was only Rivers where their governor said, no, nobody should be part of it. And because we don't also want to leave them behind, we went ahead to identify leaders of the party in that state to say, please, come on board, while we continue to reach out to these other individuals. I have also mentioned the last time that our train have moved. We will not hesitate to stop at relevant train stations to pick up both passengers who are also going to become maybe willing in the course of time to join the train, or those who are hesitant but see reason and the course of time to also join the train. We will continue along that line because Atiku's desire is to carry everybody along. And no matter what they do, we will still continue to make effort to get them to understand that the joining to rescue Nigeria is not what you are going to subject to psychosis.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Charles Aniagwu, Delta State Information Commissioner and spokesperson of the Atiku presidential campaign.
Thank you.